Hello, my lover of wisdom. I just want to tell you that this Friday is premiering an interview that I have with Allan Patch. Allan Patch is a famous author from San Diego, California, and he writes about Greece. It's kind of like historical fiction, but it also has a sci-fi element to it. Fascinating books. His main book was Passage to Delphi. And anyway, we're going to have an interesting conversation about Greece, about Greek philosophy, about my method, and I think it's going to be a very interesting interview for you. So just giving you a heads up, this Friday premieres on Allan K TV on YouTube.
Here we are in Athens, and my wife and I, Nancy, have made this trip over to Greece in an effort to go back and see some of the wonderful things we saw in Athens in 1994, and to go to Athens and to Crete and Santorini. But one of the special events of this trip is to meet you.
Thank you, and for me to meet you.
Yeah, because we've talked with each other sort of in a way through social media.
Yes.
And I've watched your videos. I've now read your book on From Fear to Freedom. And I just want to say that I've learned so much, and I want to talk to you more in depth. I think this is the kind of book that you could read 2 or 3 times to really get everything out of it that you're trying to teach, and for people to know about themselves and how to progress. But what I've done is I've read it on the way over, and I'd like to talk to you about what you're trying to teach.
I'm very happy to have you here in my house in Athens, and to all your friends, and to speak about my book here, From Fear to Freedom. This is the book. It's actually a workbook, as you noticed. It has some theory, but it's workbook in the sense that it has actual exercises.
So what I'd like to do is I'd like to ask you about the method that you use.
Yes.
What you're portraying in your book, and the actual practical nature of bringing about a positive result for someone who's looking to make a change in life.
Yes. Okay, so let me begin where I learned about this method. The method is Aristotle. I teach influence and persuasion, right? So somewhere along the line, as I taught influence and persuasion, the first thing you learn as a trainer is Aristotle was one of the first people to ever write a method for influencing. And it's called the rhetoric. And they teach his method, the rhetorical triangle. Still today, all over the world, in the best universities, they teach his 3-step method to being able to influence and persuade others. And all I did along the way was realize that these 3 principles can be used to influence ourselves.
So not only to improve your abilities as a speaker, but also to take that and now apply it to yourself and say, how do I make myself, how can I guide myself towards a better future?
Yes, and that was the unique part. That's my part, the Alkistis method. So let's go back to what Aristotle taught. Aristotle taught that if you want to influence and persuade a group of people, you have to have ethos. Ethos is a Greek word, but it has become universal, and it basically means integrity, credibility. So if I want to help someone to stop smoking, I can't be sitting puffing away and being a smoker, because you will not take me seriously. You say, who are you to preach? Who are you to? You have to walk your talk. That's a very simple, straightforward, makes sense thing. But it's also very difficult to walk your talk. So the second aspect is pathos. Pathos is the origin of the English word passion, and it has to do with your emotional intelligence, okay? It means engaging with your audience's passions. What are their passions? It means their deepest fears and their greatest dreams and aspirations. So in other words, why are you listening to me? Because I can help you overcome some of your fears, your insecurities, the things you're afraid of about your future. And I can help you achieve your goals and your dreams.
That's powerful.
This is very powerful. You have to
connect
know
like
your
that.
audience. Yeah, knowing your audience. So the third aspect that Aristotle spoke about is the logos, logic. It's the Greek word logos is the root of the word logic. So you appeal to logic and reason. So I will give the audience statistics. I will give the audience facts, case studies, talk strategy. So persuade through logic. The goddess Athena came to me in the dream, and she gave me like a compass, a golden compass. And it had ethos, pathos, logos. And she said to me, this can guide you in your life. In the dream.
Oh,
It's insane.
the inspiration.
The inspiration.
It comes from somewhere.
This is a place of healing and transformation. Here you will find eudaimonia, love, freedom, and flourishing. Now we will proceed to the Academia. Follow me.
I bet this was a very vivid dream. You woke up and you were inspired by it.
So she said, follow this and you can never be lost. It's your moral compass, she just gave it to me. It was like a device, like a GPS. So I started writing about that and I said, okay, you know what? This system can help us make better decisions. This system stops you from lying to yourself.
The balance between logic and emotion.
Yeah.
It makes you kind of think of, Apollonian and Dionysian. And trying to keep that, where do you get the balance? Because you get out of whack in either direction.
Right,
So
Apollonian and Dionysian.
it's exactly the same thing as you're saying, which is to find the balance, and that's the hardest thing, is to find the balance and to stay there.
Stay in the
And not go-
golden way, the golden mean, as Aristotle
And you can
said.
go in this direction for some period of time, but eventually you got to come back because then you're too far in one direction. Certainly you can go in that direction for a while, in this direction, but you got to make your way back.
And it's to help you find inner harmony, what the Greeks call eudaimonia, as you know the word, flourishing, to flourish, okay? Because we are all here to flourish, according to the Greeks, okay? Now to us it might sound like a given, yeah, we're here to realize our dreams, but in ancient times this was a revolutionary thought, that we are here to find happiness here and to flourish and to find a life purpose. This was all a radical thinking for those days, for ordinary people. So,
And that was brought forward because if you think about the Declaration of Independence and what the United States became, they understood Greek thought and Greek philosophy. Life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. That had to be added in.
Absolutely. They were all Philhellenes. I think a lot of them spoke Greek, the founding fathers of America. Greek influence, the whole way the democracy was formed, definitely influenced.